Hello and welcome to 110 Yards. I'm Coach Aaron Page, the Canadian coaching American football in Denmark. Today I have with me the Assistant Director of Player Engagement with the Washington Football Team and a really good friend of mine, Coach Evan Harrington. How you doing today, Evan?
I'm great. Glad to be on the show. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. We were just talking, how we met, uh, and what I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about before we get to, a whole bunch of things. But Europe's Elite. That was something you started. I'm not exactly sure the exact day, but um, I had got a message from you saying, "Hey, do you want to come check out this camp?" And then, I mean, the rest is history. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about football. Just the building of the relationships, the brotherhood, the connections. Just shooting out a text asking that somebody want to, come and help these kids get better just turns into a lifelong friendship, and that's the thing you can appreciate about football. It connects people from every walk of life. So.
yeah, I mean, like so Europe's Elite, the Level Up camp it was for a huge youth camp that was in Austria that year. But I mean, when I found out about it, I was like, number one, I was excited. I was trying to get the kids I was coaching to go, and I ended up going myself. That's how much I wanted to get down there. You had some great coaches there, like Coach Rip Shear and Coach Wilson from the Eagles at the time. Um, but when I met you, I was excited to find out the connection with the CFL because and that's sort of I don't know. It was like instant connection when I got there with you. I found and I was excited about that and I really enjoyed the camp when I was there.
Yeah, yeah, man, it's crazy. I always say my experience in Canada was life changing because it was the first time I actually traveled out of the country, and you got to see a different walk of life, the Canadian lifestyle. They're the nicest people in the world. You get to experience the loony and the toonies, the little
Yeah,
the
yeah,
coin dollars. It was truly amazing, and I got to be a part of a great organization in the Edmonton Eskimos, and I love Canada. And we were just talking about my good friend. We came into the league together, Sean Lemon, and I think he's like second all time in the CFL in
oh yeah.
sacks.
I'm a big
I
fan of
just
the
talked to
Lemonator.
him. Yeah, I just talked to him yesterday. We talk like every other day, and it was this spot out in Edmonton called Rumors. And every time, and at the time, it was the song called Rumor Has It. And every time we talk about Edmonton, we say Rumor Has It, and it's kind of our running joke, man. And I love the Canadian lifestyle, the Canadian people. Uh, you know, all much love to all of Canada.
Yeah, man. And that after that you started your journey in Europe going to Switzerland was your first time in Canada. Did that ease the culture shock of going to Europe? It's kind of like it's a little bit different in Canada, and then you go to
Yeah.
Europe and it's like, okay, that would have been a big change just going from the States to Switzerland though, eh?
Yeah, yeah. For me, going to Europe, I was like, hey, I went to Canada. Why not go to Europe? I had a good buddy of mine, Josh Hardigan. He was playing up in Hamburg, Germany, and he convinced me to get on the plane and get on the Euro players first and try to see what was out there. And I ended up going to Basel. That was in 2014. We won the first ever championship for the Basel Gladiators. That was pretty exciting. And then I had the opportunity to go play in Frankfurt, and while I was in Basel and in Frankfurt, I was coaching their youth teams. And just coaching has always been in my blood, I feel like, especially when I was playing in college and I got to experience, my mentor, Rip Shear, and Coach Eric Bieniemy, experience those guys give so much of themselves to me and enrich my life with their not only football knowledge, but their life knowledge. They're also great husbands, they're great fathers. And that's something that I try my best to be not only just like them, but to be better than them. That's something that I preach to our guys here. Be better than the man who's taught you, So, and just going to Frankfurt and then we're starting to coach, and I realized, hey, there's a lot of young talent here. What can I do to help them? And at first we thought of doing like a camp on wheels where we travel to different clubs and, you know, help coach their club up. But that kind of fell on the water once I got married and had kids. So we figured out what's another way I can do it with and spend time with my family, and that's where we came up with Europe's Elite as a platform for these young men to upload their highlights, share their stories, and we really are a news and media outlet to help promote their success, just like Rivals.com, and I believe Canada has their own version
Yeah, we
of
got
a
Canada
platform
Football
as well.
Chat. Yeah.
Canada Football Chat, so that's kind of the whole idea, and it's just been growing and growing as the years have gone along. And then we were able to develop the Level Up Camp, which is a week long camp. We want to simulate a training camp week that a kid would have to experience if he were to go to college or go to high school in America. And that's been really successful because it gives those guys an opportunity to experience what it's like to take part of in a true training camp. Uh, 5 days a week, waking up at 6, having late night film study and things like that. And then it's also a time where coaches can network with other coaches in Europe and abroad. So I think what we started was really great. Of course, it was put on hold last year due to COVID, and we hope to get it back going again this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you talk about the kids like that, when I was there, they definitely experienced those long days, and you could see them putting it in and kind of having that feeling of accomplishment, after the end of each day when they're having dinner and stuff like that. But also, you mentioned the networking. Yeah, I met a ton of guys there that were helping out, that I'm still friends with to this day. Some I've had on here, and even through Europe's Elite, like I was doing some writing for them for you guys, like at in 2019, and me met Caleb, and I was talking to him on here too. He's an awesome dude, and it's just a lot of great people you have involved, which I think is and it's continuing to grow, which is the best thing that I like when I follow Europe's Elite and stuff like that. Uh, was that the first year in 2018 when you did it?
The first year of Europe's Elite
Like
in
the Level Up Camp series?
Yeah, 2018 was the first year in which we did the Level Up Camp series. And because of that is the reason why I'm here in Washington, because Coach Shear told me, hey, I love what you're doing here, but you need to come back to America and see if you can, coach at a high level. And he, believed in me and encouraged me to go. So
Yeah.
that's how we that's again the football and the connections and people just encouraging you to do things out of the box that you necessarily wouldn't think. Because if you were to tell me in 2018 I'll be back in America, I tell you you're crazy. I'm just going to live the rest of my life in Switzerland and that'll be it.
Yeah. I know it's crazy because like even me here in Denmark, if you would have told me 10 years ago, yeah, you're not going to be in the Navy anymore. You're going to be coaching in Denmark. I would have said you are out of your mind.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but okay, so yeah, your journey to Washington wasn't like a simple one either, though. You went back and you were at Independence Community College, and on that well-known program we know as Last Chance U. So what was that whole experience like? And you know, was that somewhere? Did you have a connect there, and then someone vouched for you and you got the job, or how did all that work out?
So we go because I'm from America. Obviously, we go to America and go vacation. Me and my family. So we went there in 2018, right after the camp. I went and did an internship with Coach Garrett Tujay. He was my junior college head coach at College of the Canyons. He's like my godfather. I call him my godfather. And I did a week there as they were going through their training camp, and I saw that Independence had a job opening, and Coach 2J knew Coach Brown because they coached against each other when Coach Brown was coaching. I think he was coaching at an Independence college. I mean, at a college in Southern California. I want to say Compton. Yeah, I think he was coaching at Compton. He was coaching at Compton Community College, and they coached against each other. And you know, I was advised, you know, maybe you should wait and see if something else comes. But I said, hey, I'll take the chance because I knew my other mentor, my former offense coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, he was right there in Kansas City. So if things were to go south, I had someone to lean on. So I end up interviewing and I get the job there. So I had to extend my vacation to take unpaid leave from my job in Switzerland, and I end up coaching the season at Independence. And on the weekends, I would go and visit with Coach Bieniemy, and we would go to the Chiefs game. And he told me, "Hey, come to the combine, and let's see if we can get your foot in the door." And went to the combine. I went back to Switzerland after the season, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to try to make it work." I quit my job in Switzerland before I knew I had a job, and I went to the combine and I gave my resume to anyone who had hands and anyone who would take it. And I ended up running into my former strength coach, uh, Coach Malcolm Blacken, and he's the head of player development and player engagement here with Washington. And he asked me what I was doing here, and I said, I'm looking for a job. Do you have anything? And he said, you know what? I might have something for you. 2 days later, I had a meeting with our then president, Bruce Allen, and I sat down with him for about 30 minutes and interviewed for that position right there in the hotel lobby. He went back to interviewing players for the draft, and I got a call about a few weeks later telling me that I got the job.
Man, that's awesome. I was really excited when I found out you were going to be doing that. And is that the key? Like sometimes you just got to get somewhere where there's, you can hand out resumes, or, if you can, do the teams do any sort of like week internships, or where you can come shadow, or stuff like that? Is that, I mean, obviously you do have to know somebody, but are those possibilities for coaches? Because the reason why I'm asking is because there's a lot of coaches over here trying to like break that barrier to get over to Canada or the US. And,
Mm.
how do you think they would go about doing that? You know,
Well, it's one of those who you know business where if you're getting to know someone, you got to know someone to get somewhere. But I also think that if you have an opportunity to show up somewhere, whether that's a combine, the coaches convention that they annually have, or the Senior Bowl, things like that, you got to meet and greet these guys, and not only make a connection only when you need a job. Keep a constant connection. If there's some sort of chemistry there, you guys have something in common. Keep a connection there, so they're always thinking, hey, you know what? Something comes up, but I know a guy who I always am in constant communication with, and let's see if he's interested or if he has the qualifications for this position. I think that's a key. And the other thing about this is with COVID, there's no reason why people shouldn't be enhancing their connection book, or their contact book, because there have been so many virtual clinics, so many virtual meet and greets. You only have to open up Twitter, open up Facebook, and there's a new meet and greet going on somewhere where a coach is presenting, or coaches, are just doing mock interviews or things like that. So I think that's something you have to seek out those opportunities to meet coaches.
I agree. Like, when I'm back at home in Canada, my mom, for example, lives in Ottawa. So every time I go visit her, I always send an email to the Red Blacks coaches staff, like, hey, can I sit down, pick you guys' brain? And I heard back from a guy, Coach
Mm.
Mark Nelson, but he actually had moved on to the Argonauts, but he was still in Ottawa. So yeah, like I got to sit down with him, and he's a special teams coordinator. I even got him to give a little presentation to my team out here in Denmark. Um, so it's top tier, like you said, those online. And I said, there's no reason why we can't get better. And he took it as an opportunity to get ready to present to his guys, and little practice run for him. So it all worked out. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, coaches are always willing to share information, but it's all about why am I sharing this information? Is he serious about the information, or he's just thinking like, okay, I got a connection or something like that? Because thousands of people are constantly contacting guys, especially at the highest levels. So it's one of those things where it just has to be a genuine connection, and of course, you want to always try to bang down as many doors as possible, but just try to be your authentic self, and things will work out.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to the Europe's elite, like being the media platform and the way it's growing, I'm noticing a lot more players are getting some cloud and some notice from schools in the States, and now even Canada. Like St. Mary's University is a one in my hometown, and they did a live Q&A with the head coach on Europe's elite Instagram page with Coach Colsey, who is actually from the States. He won a national championship with Florida State back in the 90s. So he's got some connects everywhere, and he brings guys from
Mm.
Florida up to Canada. So I'm excited to see that more players from Europe are getting opportunities in the States, and also in Canada, where I think U Sport football is a little flying under the radar. a bit because it's good ball, and especially with the CFL having that new international spot for guys to get under the noses of CFL recruiters by playing in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely just trying our best to make sure these guys have opportunities. And I mean, in Canada, there's good football being played in Canada every year. I think it's about 100 kids from France, and they go over to Canada to go play college ball. Because they feel like that's a opportunity for them to get better and maybe play in the CFL or the NFL. So there's a lot of young, talented kids all over the globe who can play ball, but they just don't have a platform to be seen. And that's where we are, Europe's Elite, are trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah. And when you first started with Washington, was there sort of a moment of awe? You're around some of these guys who are veteran players and kind of getting to pick their brains and seeing the way they look at the game. Like, was how was that experience for you? Like when you first got there in Washington?
When I first got here, I was excited, a little bit nervous because I had been in Europe for a while and didn't know how the transition would affect me and my communication. Um, those things come into mind, but as you get going, you realize, okay, hey, I used to play this game. Hey, I used to play against some of the players on this team when I was in college.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one of my teammates from college. So I mean, you get going and you're like, oh, okay, these they're just the guys. Uh, I've been blessed and fortunate to be around some great coaches, and some of my coaches are coaching in the league. So we'll go to away games and I'll meet up with some of my coaches, or we'll go to a away game and I'll see one of my former teammates, and I'm like, Jimmy, and we see each other before and after the game, or it's exciting, and I do kind of sometimes take a step back and try to take it in and realize, hey, I'm blessed to be one of 32. I know it's a privilege and it's an honor to be here, and I do not take it for granted. But I also want to see how I can, provide a helping hand for other guys who are trying to come to this level, who may not have the same connections as I do. Maybe I am that connection for them in the near future. Definitely not now because I'm still, still trying to find my own way. But
Yeah.
definitely, how do I give back to this game that's given so much to me?
Yeah, man. And do you think Europe prepared you a little bit? Because let me just kind of run this through you. When you first get over here, you're like, okay, here's the team, and it's probably just you and like one other helper who you got to coach up yourself, and that's like kind of like a brick wall when you first get there. And then after a year or two, you're like, oh, no staff, just me, offense, defense, hour-long practice. That ain't no problem. I'm good. I know what to do. And then when you get over to Washington, there's everyone's got something. So
Mhm.
there's less of that. So you're more prepared, I guess, for to succeed there based on everything you have to do in Europe as a coach.
Yeah, I think one thing that I learned how to do in Europe is how to provide more with less. How do I improvise, or how do I make things work when I really don't have that piece, but I'm going to find a way. And one thing I always take to heart or keep with me, what my coach used to tell me in college is find a way to finish. And I think in Europe, all these coaches, they're taken for granted because they're doing so much with so little. Guys are finding out how to create their own sleds. You have guys creating their own sleds, guys creating their own weights, guys finding ways, to use their local resources to help their team get better. So you have a guy who's calling plays on offense, calling plays on defense, and he's doing special teams. As one coach,
Oh, did I lose you there?
Europe definitely prepared me for this next level, and I'm grateful that I had that opportunity to be in Europe and to get better as a coach.
Yeah, man. I agree because when I first like came over to Germany, that was me. Like it was almost like getting force fed by a fire hose with everything you had to do. But yeah, you
Mm.
find a way to overcome and yeah, that's awesome to hear. Um, and so Europe's elite now. Like, what's I know the camp last year got canceled, but now you guys are going this summer. Hopefully, barring any more COVID craziness. But let's talk about that and where it's going to be and when. And
So July 19th, July 19th. It's in Ferny Vallatore, France. We'll be doing the camp again, our week long camp. Crossing our fingers that the circumstances allow us to do so. But we'll be doing that, bringing over players and coaches, same as we did the past 2 years, and we're just excited to make this hopefully the best camp yet. So we want to have some great coaches there from Europe and America, and you guys can check it out at www.levelupcamps.org. If you want to find out more information, if there are coaches out there who are interested in coaching at the event, you can contact me personally through Facebook or Instagram, or the Europe's Elite Facebook or Instagram page. And as far as further events, we've kind of put a hold on it because we want to respect what everyone's going through there in Europe and here in America. And until things clear up, we haven't really planned anything else. We had our virtual combine where we allow kids to do things virtually on their own, and shared that with our partners GMTM, and they then shared it with colleges all across America. And it's on the platform. We also have our free database where you can create your own profile, and upload your highlights on our website. And it's just an opportunity where coaches can go over there and look you up and see what you're all about. We have our ranking system where we're constantly trying to update the rankings of players, and you know don't take the rankings too hard. Sometimes we're wrong, and it's great when you prove us wrong. That is awesome when you prove us wrong. Want to put that out there, but we're doing our best to get an overall scope of what coaches are looking for at the next level.
yeah, I'm excited. I think the way Denmark's league works, there's a break in July, so I'm definitely going to try to get down there for the camp. Barring any, like I said, unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. What's the situation like there in Denmark?
Right now, we're locked down. They're just trying to like it's not bad. Then I don't think the numbers are too bad, but they're really trying to just shut it down so they can start going back to normal here as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, like the guys, we're doing online training. I'm
Hmm.
sure it was a struggle for you guys, even when the season started for you guys this year, doing everything virtually. Like I'm noticing, I'm not that type of person. I don't learn that way, and I'm the one having to give these presentations.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I find that a challenge. I'm
Hmm.
sure it was like with player development and everything, you guys must have had to make sure all things are good to go. I don't know, what was that like? Uh,
I mean, you have to work with our DFO, and we have one of the best DFOs here in Paul Kelly, and scheduling everything, making sure we're spaced out with the timing and things like that. We had three separate locker rooms, so we aren't bunched together. It was amazing that we pulled this off, and we made it through the whole season. We did not have a shutdown of our facility, and that's a big kudos to our players in the way they handle it and professionally, and make sure they were doing the right things outside of the facility, because when they come in here, they know it's all about ball. It's all about focusing on the opponent that we have for that week. So they're doing the necessary things off the field to make sure they're keeping everybody in our building safe. And of course, with Coach Rivera and his battle he had with cancer, we definitely had to make sure that we keep everyone safe as he was going through his chemo and all that treatment. So I mean, we won the division, so we were doing something right.
yeah, that was pretty good, man. I was cheering for you. I'm a Colts fan personally, but I mean,
Mhm.
when I knew you're there, I'm like, yeah, I gotta cheer for the
I
for the
appreciate
Washington.
that.
Yeah. But I gotta ask, last year, what was it like working with a guy like Adrian Peterson? Uh, I've been a fan of his for a long time.
Mhm.
It's hard not to be a fan of these guys and sort of be like, man, this is one of the greatest to ever do it. Like, uh, did
Yeah,
you
I
learn
mean,
stuff from him? Like,
so the funny thing is, when I got here, I was asked to help out on offense, and I actually got to be the assistant running backs coach on my first year, and that was kind of my role. I was helping out on offense and defense, and I get in that room, and I tell AP, I said, "Hey, so EB told me to tell you what's up and keep grinding," and talk about Eric Bieniemy and those guys, and he drafted him when he was in Minnesota. So because of that connection, we clicked right away. And it's weird when you have the GOAT, we call him the GOAT. He asks you for, hey, what do you think I did on that play? What could I have done better?
Yeah.
And I'm coaching him and I'm learning from him at the same time, but he's humble enough to say, okay, I also want to know what did I do wrong? You know, he's one of the most humble human beings I ever met in my life. Anytime a kid asks for an autograph, he's always stopping and spending extra time. And one of my duties is to make sure everyone gets off the field and on the field at a timely manner. And it's always hard getting him off the field because he wants to wait and take time for the fans, because he appreciates their support throughout his years of playing this game. So great guy. Um, I would say he's the only one I would say where I got a little starstruck at first, but at the end of the day, he's human just like me, and he wants to get better just like me, and we got to depend on each other to feed our family. So
Yeah. And I can imagine that, like, he's asking you for coaching tips, and you're like, how am I supposed to tell you how to play the game? But yeah, that's pretty good, man.
yeah.
What was it like? You talk about your former coach, Eric Bieniemy, like last year, seeing him win, and cheering him on this year. What's that like for you as a him being your mentor and former player of his?
It was great to see him be successful. Of course, I wish we were there, the Washington football team.
Yeah,
I wish we were there, but since we weren't there, I could cheer them on. And it's just great to see the success that they had. They have a great organization there, and you know they're doing their thing. But they got to watch out for next year because it's going to be us they're facing.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Awesome, man. So I guess to close things out, I always ask like a question about being a football podcast. If everything is right as a player or as a coach, offensively and defense is aligned the exact way you want, what's your favorite play that you love to see just executed perfectly?
I would say the duo play.
Duo.
I would say we're running duo. If we're running duo, we're getting our running back one on one with the cornerback because we're leaving him unblocked, and we're going to watch our running back just make magic happen.
I love it. I love it. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming and doing this. Stay tuned for the Europe's Elite camp this year and more to come from Europe's Elite. Um, thank you so much, Coach.
No problem. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
All right, take care.